Instagram and Facebook. And I hope you all can see me. So I'm back with some topics. I've been doing lots of kind of vlogging in the last year or so, probably most of 23, as I was pregnant, and I have a little baby now, and now I'm missing this interaction, and I'm basically coming back online. So today's topic is what's wrong with me. It's not so much what's wrong with me, but the question that we ask ourselves, what's wrong with me? When things are in life not going the way we want it to go, and then we feel, oh, I've done everything I could, or I'm really trying hard, there is always, there is this intrusive thought that may come in, which is like, okay, so if I am doing everything I can and my life is not changing, or I'm still not happy with my circumstances, then what is wrong with me? So this question is very torturous, it's very painful. It makes us activate shame, kind of like a basic shame. There is two types of shame. One shame is I've done something wrong, so my behavior or something that maybe I said wrong or I've done something wrong. So it's kind of like a little bit separate, a little bit softer feeling of shame, because that makes you feel separate from that feeling of shame. And when you have this question, what's wrong with me? It's something's wrong, something's shameful about myself. So this is kind of like a hard shame. I call it like kind of like a hardcore core shame about oneself. So if you are in this situation, and if you are feeling that, okay, what's wrong with me? You know, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get this right? Why can't I get relationships right? Why can't I get my life right? The chances are that it's not really there is something wrong with you. You just have wrong programs, faulty programs, unhelpful patterns. So if you imagine yourself as a computer, as a machine, because our behavior, our actions, everything streams from basically what we think and feel about ourselves. And if there is program that is running that is not good, is giving us bad results. How do we know if it's not good program? We don't like what we receive. Our life is not the way we want it to be. We are suffering, we in pain, we are stuck, we don't get what we want. Okay, I made some notes. So, next question that you may have, if you think like, okay, what's wrong with me then? Or why can't I just, be like everybody? Why can't I just be happy? Why can't I just get a good relationship? Why I can't just get out of this wherever I am, debt situation, money situation, bad relationship with parents, bad relationship with your weight, with your body, you name it, any of those. Why can't I get off this anger pattern? Why I cannot get off this depressive pattern? It's basically not your fault. You have some trauma which installed these wounds in you. So hold on, I actually need to reverse and translate this, because I sometimes realize I speak in terms of the books and the education that I have undergone, and that might not make sense. So what does it mean? So you may have some, let's say, blockages and some wounding which makes you feel or think certain way, and you believe that way is true about you, and you keep on doing it, the same things, because there is no other way of doing things. But basically what it is, there is some kind of, you can almost compare it to a scar tissue. Trauma is, you can say, it's like a scar, it's like a block, and then you cannot really see things clearly. You cannot just, for example, stop certain behavior and behave differently. And who has done it to you? most likely it's your childhood environment. So whoever were your primary caregivers, it could be your parents, it could be your grandparents, it could be your teacher or someone that was looking after you, your nanny. And is it their fault? Is it parents' fault? Is it caregivers' fault? It's yes, and it is also no. Because yes, they installed these bad patterns in you, or you copied them by observing adults doing it, or maybe they said something and you felt a certain way and then you got this wounding, this trauma. So you can say yes, they are at fault, and at the same time is no, they usually do the best they can and they cannot do any better. So it's kind of like a both. But today, instead of concentrating on who's at fault or finding responsibility, I want to kind of come back to the present moment, into like what is going on right now in your life. And if you don't feel like you are happy, like you are satisfied, like you have goals and you are able to achieve those goals, it means there is some blockages, and that means there is some kind of like a unhelpful patterns and beliefs that are going on. And what is happening today in your life is you are adult and you have your life and you are responsible for your life, and you can choose to change it if you want to. With being traumatized, injured, unhealed by something that happened in your past, it's not like you necessarily have to do something to recover, otherwise you're going to be there forever. Usually life itself tries to heal you. It's the same as if you have a wound somewhere, you get a wound, like a physical wound on your arm, let's say. What happens, your organism, your body tries to heal it. So kind of like creates environment and creates the whole process of healing. You get the scab, then you get the scar, then you get the new skin under, you get cells repaired, and then it looks either you have slight scar or you don't have even anything visible. So it's the same with, let's say, emotional injuries, emotional traumas. And we all have it. So it's not like, oh my God, I'm traumatized and you're not traumatized. All of us are traumatized. All of us have some unhelpful beliefs. All of us have some unhelpful patterns. All of our parents, most of them, let's assume they did best they could. Not all of them, most of them, let's say. And yet we still got traumatized. And the same happened to them, the same happened to their parents, the same happened to their parents, their parents, their parents. Is kind of like a ancestry generational trauma, you can even say that. So what we are working with today is, okay, so this package is what I got, this is what I have, and now what do I do with it? So life itself will create circumstances. You will see the same situation repeating and repeating, not because somehow life wants to torture you, not somehow that, you somehow on bad books with the God, with the universe, but it's more like, okay, let's create the same situation again. Let's give you another chance to do it differently and to integrate that pain. Okay. I feel so hot of trying to set up all technology because it's been a long time that I feel my nose running. So yeah, what do you do with this today? And you can do many things with it today. I am so passionate about it because this is something that I've done myself for myself, and right now I live a relatively happy life, I would say. Is it a dream life? Possibly not for everybody, but most of the days I kind of, when I'm not hungry and I'm not tired, I wake up and I look and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm living a good life. We are living pretty good life here. I actually got pretty much what I want. Am I at the end of my goals? Not yet, but am I on the way with my, let's say, goals or my vision or my dream life? Yes, I am. So the same goes for all of us. the same goes for you. Hello, Panthea. I can see you. Hi. I don't know. I can only see the Instagram. I cannot see the Facebook where these things are actually comments are coming up. So how to fix it? There are techniques. One of them is inner child work, and there are like many approaches. So in a nutshell, what it is, basically we heal, we work, we comfort, we create different circumstances for that part of us which is alive as a child, our inner child, which has experienced something traumatic, sad, unsatisfactory, and we kind of change that emotional reality, because those inner children, that part of us as a child, is well and alive within our being, within our psyche. So we might be grown up in our body, but in our psyche, in our emotional body, there is this child. There are many children, there are many aspects of us, especially the ones that something happens and then they get stuck. I am feeling lonely and nobody comforts me. I'm feeling lonely and nobody comforts me. I'm feeling lonely and nobody comforts me. And what happens then? Then we grow out of that problem, but that aspect stays there. And then later in life, for example, I'm feeling lonely. Later in our life, I'm feeling something is missing. I'm all on my own, even though I have people around me. And that's usually because we have that part of us stuck somewhere back in the past with that reality which has never fully integrated, which has never fully healed. So this was one examples of how you try to heal it. The next is like a completing trauma cycle. So we actually go back into traumatic specific event. We relive it consciously, and then we change the circumstances. For that, you need to be willing to go there and to re-experience that. So it's not for everybody. It's only for those who is like, you know what, that's enough. I had enough of this. This is actually so painful. My life is so painful right now that, you know what? Yeah, I know it's not going to be comfortable. I'm going to go back. I'm going to relive that trauma, and I'm going to change the things the way I actually wanted and needed it to be. So for that, for example, I use the completion process by Teal Swan. It's actually pretty good integration technique for pretty much all trauma, but it's better, I think, for people who have a good visualization capacity. So another technique, for example, is learning about your unhelpful thoughts, challenging those thoughts and beliefs, and then creating new ones. So this is kind of like, say we've been exercising in the gym and we grown muscles, disproportionate muscles on some place, and we actually want more proportional muscles. So what we do, we stop exercising, or we exercise that muscle less and we start exercising different muscle more. So it's the same with the beliefs. We kind of like stop running our mind through those beliefs, or we kind of redirect our mind from those unhelpful beliefs into the ones that we want to have instead. So it's kind of like a actively choosing the belief system that we will have active for us. And that takes some kind of analysis. It takes also a determination. It takes capacity to observe yourself. It takes some discipline to see, okay, I'm doing this again. Okay, let me rewind it. Let me change my monologue, right? So that's another technique that you can use. Then there is also, for example, constellation work, which you can do with your inner family, with your mother, with your father, with other people who might have injured you. When I say injured, it could be just, emotional injury and the trauma thereof. And then you can change your emotional reality by working with these techniques. All of them I've worked with even more techniques I work with. All of them you can find online. You can buy books, you can watch videos, you can have a blog to read, and it's actually very, very helpful if you do that yourself. And also, if you want somebody to help, I'm back now to doing sessions, to working with people. You can contact me at any point, and I'll get back to you once I can. I have a small daughter now, so my time is a little bit different in terms of availability than it was before. But at the same time, it's just, I love working with myself on these topics and with these techniques, and I love working with people, and this is just something that I cannot not do. Anyways, the point is, when you think that, what's wrong with me? I am wrong in some way and it's just something unfixable, it's actually more helpful to think that, okay, so what happened to me that I am now at this point where I feel something's wrong with me? Something must have happened with me. When you were born, you were not thinking those thoughts about yourself. It could be that they started very early, but most likely you were not thinking those thoughts about yourself as a baby, as a small child. At some point you started thinking that, or at some point you have enough accumulated responses from your environment, you have enough trauma piling up, and then you started to think the same way about yourself as, let's say, people were saying to you, or maybe they were not saying. You kind of made that conclusion from their actions and from the circumstances in your life. So, what's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong with you. You just have trauma, which is uncleared, and you don't have to stay that way forever. If you want to work on it, you can. If you want to change it, you can. Or another liberating approach is simply to accept it. Say, okay, so you know what? I'm traumatized. And that's reality. And work from that. So, I hope you are having a good day. I'm having a rainy day. And I am going to do this again soon. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you. So, you have any questions, any comments, you can comment in the comments, or you can contact me directly. My contact details are in my bio, in my profile, so you can do that. And other than that, enjoy, and I will see you next time. Bye bye. And bye bye again. And bye bye until I able to switch this.